I'm so glad they were able to do this.
Yeah, this is amazing. I mean, this is the nice thing about Toronto is it kind of gives a shit about community and what that means. It's crazy. They felt Toronto. Hey, look.
Well, I had such a beautiful moment. Like, I had a couple over the weekend, but yesterday morning, when we did Bring Your Own Bowl cereal and cartoons.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. It was just, it was here.
It's just the way it's kind of been left. It's funny, like all the stuff has been sold, but the building itself is pretty much intact still.
Wow.
Not for too much longer, I guess. But,
Yeah.
but yeah, this is so Honest Ed used to be. You ever heard of Fuller Brush, like the Fuller Brush guy?
Yes.
Have you? Yeah. Okay,
Yes,
so this was like a kind of like the Maytag man, like but you know, for door-to-door sales. Like it was kind of the door-to-door salesman at the time for the Fuller Brush guys, and they would come around door to door and they would sell these brushes, but they would also sell like toiletries and little bits and pieces of stuff, knickknacks. But that was Honest Ed's first job in sales, and it was kind of where he learned how he wanted to go about this in terms of getting to know his customer base and providing them with things that they may actually need. And this was the Fuller Brush. They had this famous slogan: "Make it work, make it last, guarantee it, no matter what." Not very catchy. You might find something in common with Honest Ed slogans. It doesn't really rhyme. It's not very catchy necessarily, but it tells you just the facts. You know what you need to know about the product and what he's going to supply you as you know, the person you're buying from. So yeah, it's interesting. Like he worked for Fuller Brush for a long time. Fuller Brush men were so famous that they were even Red Skelton played in a movie called The Fuller Brush Man.
Oh
They're
man.
like doing a movie now called like, I'm trying to think of like what it would be like.
The Maytag repair guy.
Yeah, exactly. Like a movie about the Maytag repair guy, just called Maytag Repair Guy, starring Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah,
Such a strange
what?
idea. Yeah. Lucille Ball was also in a movie. She was the star of it, and it was all about a Fuller Brush man. So they, you know, it was an interesting kind of, and so Honest Ed became known as the Fuller Brush Man of Toronto. That was like his kind of nickname by his peers at the time. So once he kind of finished with working for the Fuller Brush Company, he opened a dry cleaning place called Simpsons. Now you may notice just from the way it's written and kind of the style of the writing that it has a lot in common with another department store in Canada at the time called
Simpsons.
Now Simpsons was a big player in the game. Like they had a lot of weight to throw around, and this was a small independent dry cleaning business that they decided to just lift the name. You know, because Honest Ed was always a pretty shrewd businessman. His business partner, his last name was Simpson. So when Simpsons came knocking and they said, "Look, you can't do that. We're going to sue you. You know, you can't name your place Simpsons." Well, he famously quipped, "Here's my Mr. Simpson. Where's yours?" That's very clever. Still change the name because we'll sue you, and they did because they couldn't afford it. But it was one of those kind of bold and beautiful things that Ed was capable of, which was, you know, taking a risk, going with it, and then you know, cutting his losses when it was time to. So it turns out though that dry cleaning was something that he was really good at. So him and his wife, they opened another dry cleaning business, which was called the Sports Bar.
I came here and I was like, we need a cheap price one sets. They had $3 Snuggies, and it said a sign saying, marked down sale, last year's model. And it was like a blanket. And I was like, how do you have a last year's model of like a blanket with sleeves?
Yeah, that's
I got all those Snuggies for $3. The audience loved it. Great.
I keep turning away when he turns his head. It's freaky.
Yeah, much of it is actually found in the building. We got to run around and just. Oh, back at 2 o'clock, yeah. It's only 7 hours to go through. Okay. But we've been in here for an hour.
Let's move on to the ensuite bathrooms then. Bathrooms in general. How many bathrooms do we need in this? If you think about anything else, 4 or 5.
We've officially come to the end of an honest farewell. And before you leave, we'd like to acknowledge all of you for being here, and to the hundreds and hundreds of people who made this gift to Toronto come to life. When we experience loss of human life, we have many rituals to process the loss and get closure. But rarely are we afforded the same for space. This is why we are here today. And to quote one of our artists, be here and have the chance to lay petals on the coffin. As a final act of honoring the space and all the people who made it a part of our shared story, I'd like to invite you all for a minute of silence, and thereafter, join us to sing, to dance, and to share one final goodbye to Honor Zed.